Hello and welcome to a mod spotlight video of my own mods, Roadworks and Traffic Control. It has been a long and harrowing journey, but we're finally here and it is finally done. So let's check it out. So the first thing we're going to show off is the Roadworks stuff. The first thing we're going to show off are all the painters. These painters are going to allow you to actually paint lines on your roads. So let's take a look at the first one here. We have the side stripe painter, which is made with 2 sticks and a wool on the top right. That will create your side stripe painter, and then all these painters you can make using the yellow wool, and you'll get the yellow version of that. So the center stripe painter is 2 sticks and then a wool in the top middle. The extra stripe painter is going to be 2 sticks and 3 wools in the shape of the axe recipe. And the arrow painter is going to be 2 sticks and wool in the shape of the arrow. Looks like an arrow within the crafting recipe. And lastly, we have the tar block, which is made with a ring of cobblestone and an ink sac in the middle. So let's go ahead and see what that's going to look like. I'm going to build a small testing area for the Roadworks stuff. So as you can see here, I made a section of road here. I like to make my road 7 wide. I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I accidentally made 8 wide here. That's okay. We can roll with that. So what I like to do with my roads is I like to put the white stripes, the white stripes down the side of the road. And that'll give us our edge markers, and then I'm going to put a double stripe on this road, so I'm going to use the yellow side stripe painters to kind of give the middle stripe. And there you have it. So I'm going to make these right turn lanes. So I'm going to press the key. You'll see in the bottom, or on the top left, the arrow that I have selected. So I'm going to say this one is going to be a right turn lane, and then I'm going to make this side a white right turn lane. Like so. Excellent. So now I'm going to just kind of show the different stripes you can have here. So you got like a corner piece, we got a corner piece with this vertical extension, we got this horizontal extension, and all kinds of stripes that you can use to make every kind of road possible, every kind of stripe possible for your roads. So let's check out Traffic Control. Traffic Control adds a lot more scenery that you can add to your roads for Roadworks. So the first thing is the cones. There are 3 different kinds of cones, so let's go through each one of them. This is the drum. Most people like to call it a barrel. I know I always called it a barrel before I learned it was actually called a drum. So the recipe for the drum is a row of orange terracotta, a second row of white terracotta, and then a row of cobblestone. The cone, which is actually, that's exactly what it's called, is a cone. It is a orange terracotta in the top middle, followed by a row of white terracotta, followed by a row of cobblestone. And lastly, we have the channelizer, and I always just call it these tubes or whatever. They're actually called channelizers. Didn't know that. So the recipe for this is orange terracotta in the middle, white terracotta in the center, and then a cobblestone in the bottom middle. So this is kind of what you can do with these cones. I set up 3 different scenarios using each different kind of cone for what you might use these for. So for the drum cones, this might be something you use in a construction site, or if you're closing off a lane or something like that. Kind of big, your lanes are going to be kind of wide, so you'll use the drum cones, spread them out, put them together, whatever you'd like. That's what they're there for. We have the cones. This might be used for like if you're setting up a driving course for somebody to use, or you need to put something out in front of a hazard. In this case, I made 1 lane that goes to 2 lanes. So here in the left lane, I'm coming up here, I can choose to go to the left lane, or I can choose to go to the right. And over here I have the channelizer, so this might be used in the construction zone where your lanes are rather narrow, and you want to clearly show where the channels are for the lanes on the road. Next up we have the signs and the street lights. So to make a sign, you're going to put an iron ingot and you're going to put a painting. For the street light single head, you're going to put a redstone in the bottom middle, 2 iron ingots above that, and then a redstone lamp in the top right. And for the street light double head, you're going to do the same recipe as the single head, only you're going to add another redstone lamp on the other side, and that'll give you your street lights and your signs. So let's take a look at what this sign can do. So I'm going to place a sign right here, and when you place a sign, you can right click on it and it'll bring this menu up. In here, you can choose what type of sign you would like. So the different kinds are a circle, you can have a diamond, you can have miscellaneous signs, which are going to have like your circles and your crossbuck and whatever this stuff is. You can have a rectangle, a square, and a triangle. So I'm going to choose diamonds. Diamonds are my favorite kinds of signs. And then using these buttons on the right side and the left side, you can choose what texture shows up on the sign itself. So this is kind of a bend to the left, bend to the right, hard left, hard right, S-curves, all kinds of signs. I mean, you can see there's over 100 signs here. There's there's 80 signs there. We can just click this button here. That'll give us 103 signs there. I mean, there's just hundreds of signs that this will offer you. So again, my favorite sign is diamond. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to click this cool yield ahead sign like this right here. And once you exit out, you'll see that it shows the sign in the world, and then you can change it again if you'd like. Oh, there's a traffic light ahead, all kinds of things, and that's how you use the signs. So let's take a look at this demo area. So I have 2 different road sections here. We have a 2-lane highway and a 4-lane divided highway. So you can see these signs work great for showing a no passing zone. Let's see what else we got over here. We got speed limit 55, speed limit 65 for a divided highway, route signs, all kinds of signs that you just saw over here. So the other thing we got over here are the street lights. So these are the single-headed lights, and this is the double-headed light. So these lights actually can turn on and off. So over here I have a daylight sensor, which has 4 redstone wire connected to a wireless redstone transmitter, and those go to the wireless redstone receivers, which are connected to each one of these street lights. So we got 3 over here, and we got the double-headed one over here. So let's go ahead and make it evening. So currently these should be off because it's daytime. So if I go to the evening, we can see that they're off. And once the sensor determines that there is enough light, boom, there they are. The street lights are now on, the 3 over here and the 1 over here. So let's go ahead and see these kick off. So we'll go to the morning. We'll see that the street lights are still on, the sun is coming up, and boom, they all shut off, just like that. So you can determine whether or not you have your street lights on or off, just like they shut on and off in real life. Again, these work by applying redstone to the street lights will turn them off. Otherwise, they're on by default, just like you see here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the last part of traffic control. So the traffic control mod adds a lot of railroad crossing options for you. So we'll go ahead and take a look at each individual component. So this here is the pole. So the pole you can use for the railroad crossing, and you can use them to support your signs. They look really nice for that also. So the pole is made simply out of a column of iron ingots. Next we have the crossing base, which adds this little block at the bottom. So that's going to be 2 iron ingots and a cobblestone in the bottom middle. We have the crossing gate, which is 2 iron ingots on the right and a gold ingot in the bottom right, a red terracotta in the middle, and then a white terracotta in the top left. That'll give you your crossing gate. The crossing lamps is made out of a T of iron ingots and then 2 redstone lamps on the left and right sides in the middle. We have the crossbucks, which are on a pole, as we can see. That is crafted out of making an X out of white terracotta and then an iron ingot in the top middle and the bottom middle. A SafeTran Type 3, which is a railroad crossing bell that is created with a iron ingot in the top middle and a gold ingot in the bottom middle. And the SafeTran Mechanical Bell, which is made out of a cross of iron ingot. So these items should get your first railroad crossing set to go. This would be great for rural crossings, or you could even do just a base, a pole, and a crossbuck. That would be excellent for a road that's not very well traveled on, way out in the country, dirt road, and you got a railroad crossing, got to keep people safe. So what if you have a railroad crossing in an urban setting? You might want these overheads, which are also known as cantilevers. So to make these overheads, you are going to make a box out of iron ingots. That'll give you this overhead. And to make this look right when it's sitting on the pole, you're going to want an overhead on the pole. To make an overhead on a pole, you put 2 iron ingots in the middle, and then you put that with an overhead, and that'll give you this overhead on a pole. If you want the overhead lamps, or if you want the overhead crossbuck, you just create the lamps and the crossbuck, and you combine them with the overhead, and you will get both of these items for displaying these over the roadway. The last 2 items are perhaps some of the most important items to make a lot of this stuff function the way you want it to. So this is the crossing relay box, which is made out of a shell of iron ingots, a gold ingot in the center, and a redstone dust in the bottom middle. That'll give you a crossing relay box. And the last thing you're going to need is a crossing gate tuner. That's made out of 3 iron ingots on the right, the bottom, and the left. In the middle, you're going to have your gold ingot, and at the top, you're going to have a redstone dust. And that'll give you your entire railroad crossing set to build all kinds of railroad crossings. So I'm going to demo 2. I'm going to build one that does not have the overheads, and I'm going to build one that has the overheads. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place down this crossing base. And then on top of that, I'm going to put the railroad crossing gate, like so. And then I'm going to put on the crossing lamps. And then I'm going to put on the crossbuck. And then I'm going to put on the SafeTran mechanical bell, like so. And then I'm going to place down my crossing gate relay, like so, and then I'm going to use this crossing gate tuner. So to make all of these things work, the bell to ring, the lights to flash, and the gate to come down, I need to take my crossing gate tuner, and I need to right click on my crossing relay box. And then you can see in the bottom list it started pairing with a relay box. So I'm going to pair all the things that are interactive, I'm going to pair that with the box. So I'm going to right click on the gate. You see in the bottom list says paired crossing gate to relay box. I'm going to click on the crossing lamps, and I'm going to click on the bell. And then when I'm done, I can right click on the relay box, and you'll see in the bottom list it says stop pairing with the relay box. So let's say I wanted to get rid of a pair. So all I got to do is to start pairing with the relay box, and then click on the item I do not want to pair. You'll see in the bottom left it says unpaired crossing gate from relay box. But I'm going to leave all these things paired because I want to see it all in action. Now I'm going to apply redstone to this relay box. And there you go. The whole thing turns on. So the lights flash and the gate comes down. And now that it's all the way down, I can get rid of my redstone signal, and that'll bring everything back up. So the lights will still flash as the gate goes up, and just like that, everything is back off. So let's build the crossing gate with the overheads. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place down a crossing gate base, and I'm just going to put the actual crossing gate on this one, and that's it for this pole. And then the second pole, I'm going to place down the crossing gate base, and then I'm going to put on the pole, and then I'm going to put on the crossing lamps, and then I'm going to put on my crossbuck, and then my overhead on a pole. You'll see that it lines up with the pole. And then I'm going to put on my bell, like so, and then I'm going to put on my overhead. And then the crossbucks, actually I'm going to do my overhead lamps, and then my crossbucks, and then some more overhead lamps, like so. And that will create a railroad crossing with a cantilever. So let's go ahead and put this thing into action. So I have my crossing gate relay, so I'm going to place that down. And again, I'm going to go through and I'm going to pair everything to my crossing gate relay. So I'm going to pair my gate, my lights, my bell, and my overhead lights, and stop pairing. And I'm going to apply some redstone signal to this. And we'll see the whole thing turns on. And the gate should come down. There it goes. Down comes the gate. Bell is ringing. Awesome, and let's bring that back up. Just like that. Perfect. All right. So everything works. So I really hope you enjoyed my mod spotlight. Go over to the description and you'll see the download links for both Roadworks and Traffic Control. And next I'm going to show a nice speed build that I did, and I'm going to use immersive railroading to show the gates in action with the actual train. So here we go. I hope you enjoy it.